Hey everybody, welcome to Morning Manna. We've been dealing with insights from Isaiah. It's a book that I just want you to fall in love with. There's so many great insights in that book, but there's also some stuff that occasionally to the average American reader can be confusing, like who is Assyria and who is Tyre and who is Sidon and who's he talking to and what's he really saying? And so I'm going to give you one of those passages here, and we're going to try to make some sense of it this morning and walk away with an insight for us. So sometimes in the Old Testament, God would use foreign kings and foreign nations to discipline his people, Israel, when they wandered, to bring them back to him. But usually, those foreign kings and foreign kingdoms thought it's by my strength and my power that this has happened, and they leave the Lord out of the equation. Have you ever done that? I have a time or two. So let's take a look at something he says to the king of Assyria in Isaiah chapter 10, verse 12. When the Lord has finished all his work on Mount Zion, which is his people, and on Jerusalem, he will punish the speech of the arrogant heart of the king of Assyria and the boastful look in his eyes. For he says, who says? For the king of Assyria says, by the strength of my hand I have done it. By my wisdom, for I have understanding. I remove the boundaries of the people, and I plunder their treasures. And like a bull, I bring down those who sit on thrones. My hand has found a nest like the wealth of the people. As one gathers eggs that have been forsaken, so I will gather all the earth. I'm going to be the greatest. And there's none of the wing or of the mouth of the bird that even chirped. No one said a word about it. And then God interjects. And God says, shall the axe boast over him who hews with it? In other words, shall the axe boast over the one who picks up the axe to cut down the tree? Isn't it the one who cut down the tree that's at issue here? Or the saw? Shall the saw magnify against itself against him who wields it? Or as if a rod should wield him who lifts it? Or as if a staff should lift him who is not wood? You know, God's going to come after the king of Assyria. And if you read on, there's some pretty harsh things that God says. Wait a minute. But God used the king of Assyria. Yes, but the king of Assyria thought it was all about him. Have you ever been there in your life? You think it's all about you? You think it's, I've done this and I've done that and I am this and I am that. You know, it's not that God hates the king of Assyria. It's not that God hates the person. God hates the pride. It's almost impossible to underestimate how much God hates pride. I wonder if God hates pride in our lives. I think he does. I think the message that God would leave us with is that everything that's happened in your life that's good has come from the hand of God. And God's at work in your life, and God is shaping you. So if we give credit to God, humility begins with giving credit where credit is due, and the credit belongs to God. As we go out our day to day, let's run from humility. Let's run from pride. Let's run toward humility and give God credit for all he's doing in our lives.